So this question is from Julie. How do you suggest getting the politics out of the discussions of pandemics and climate change?
That's a good question. I would just say, Michael, you could take a crack at it, Julie. Well, partly one of the tragedies, and I want to hear what Michael has to say about this, the idea that climate change has become a cultural marker, how you feel about climate change, is one of the tragedies of our politics today. The fact, frankly, that how you feel about opening or closing and balancing these things in our economy today has become a red-blue states issue. But there are people in this country, parties and politicians, who derive great benefit from dividing us and making us frightened. And they exploit these divides to do that, and in doing so, undermine our ability to address them. And it's why I know this is a hackneyed cliche that this election is the most important of our lifetime, but this election is the most important of our lifetime. We could absorb and manage and navigate just barely 4 years of Donald Trump, climaxed by his mismanagement of this pandemic. But 4 more years, and I believe it will be the end of some of our core values of governance, our institutions, and I think we will be left with no ability to manage what is now unavoidable with climate change, and all we'll be left is trying to run away from the unmanageable.
My answer would be, though I don't disagree with what Thomas just said in the last bit of his answer, I don't think we should try to take politics out of the pandemic or climate change. It would be good to take the highly partisan red state, blue state politics out. But I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake to think, and we often hear the slogan in the climate change debate, I believe in science. And when we're debating the pandemic, think about the discussion we've been having over the past, this session even. The debate we've been having, or the discussion we've been having, has highlighted that there are hard ethical questions and ethical dilemmas and civic questions that are involved in all of these decisions. That's true of how to deal with the pandemic, how to strike the trade-offs that Tom was referring to earlier, how to design an economy that is sustainable and honors the kind of work essential workers have been doing. These are not technical questions that can be answered by experts. It's true, we need medical and public health expertise as a prelude to public debate about how to deal with the pandemic. And it's certainly true that we need to consult and learn about the various scientific accounts of climate change and carbon emissions as a prelude to public debate about what to do about climate change. But there is a risk, I think, in our current political debate of one side insisting that science, I believe in science, we hear this now as a political slogan, I believe in science. And that slogan casts science as an article of faith. And it casts those who disagree with this or that policy on climate change or the pandemic as simply people who reject reason. I think we should hesitate to frame the debate about climate change or the pandemic as a matter strictly of technocratic expertise or scientific expertise, important though medicine and public health and science are in informing public debate, but these ultimately are questions of values and trust and social cohesion. And so I think we need to be careful about trying to depoliticize too completely discussion of the pandemic and of climate change, because the alternative is a faith in technocratic expertise that is deeply anti-democratic.
I would just say, to pick up though, Michael, and maybe to go back where we started, precisely because I believe these issues of trust and values and community are so important, and that people will come at them from different perspectives, that if our goal is not to maximize saving lives and livelihoods, and that if we dishonor those who might feel strongly about both, and by suggesting that they are less ethical or moral because they want to maximize both, that is precisely the kind of attitude that I believe empowers and enables the worst people in this debate. And that's why I've come to that position of looking to harmonize. No one has done it perfectly. As I've tried to say, there are trade-offs everywhere. You can have Chinese-style surveillance. Yes, North Korea can pull it off, but very different from a big, diverse, noisy country like ours. And that's why I've tried to frame the discussion the way I have, and why I think Sweden, for its own reasons, in its own way, trying to navigate an alternative route, that the results of which are still to be determined, is an important experiment that I'm watching.